let's get into it. I want to start looking at college football looking forward in 2018. You know, recruiting is over. It's never over, but the signing clauses are signed.
Right.
We can start looking forward to the 2018 college football season. And one thing we do for the magazine, we come up with the All Texas College Team, which is the best players at each position. And so I wanted to look at, I want to go position by position, and I want to look at who's got the strongest group coming back at each position. And let's start at the most important position. Let's start at the quarterback spot.
Yeah.
And I think that there are going to be some of these times when we do this where it's going to be very easy. I will tell you that when we get to defensive linemen, it will be extremely easy.
Yeah. That goes without saying.
I probably don't even have to do much research for that. But let's start with quarterbacks, and I think it's tough because in my mind you've got 6 guys who are coming back that I think you could say they're in the mix. Okay, here's who's not considered in my mind. Okay. Yeah. Nobody from Rice is considered to be the best quarterback returning in college football. They split time between Miklos, Smalls, Jackson Tyner, Sam Glazeman. None of them were particularly breakout guys. I don't know if anybody knows who the quarterback's going to be next year, so I think it's fair to say that Rice does not have the best returning quarterback.
Right.
I think it's fair to say that TCU does not have the best returning quarterback. Sean Robinson could be that guy. He could end up being that guy, but taking over for Kenny Hill, I don't think he has the track record right now for us to say, oh, it's going to be him. Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. I don't think it could be Texas State.
Right.
They're losing Damian Williams, their quarterback, and I think they're going to move. They're going to move into probably to Willie Jones. I think he showed some flashes.
He did show some flashes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Texas Tech.
Right.
Look, it's going to be either McLean Carter or Jet Duffy probably taking over for Nick Shemenek.
Yeah.
So they're probably not in the mix, though. UTEP's not in the mix. It could be Ryan Metz, but it's probably more than likely going to be Kyle Loxley, and we just don't know.
Lots going to change out in El Paso, so who knows?
And we're not going to consider UTSA.
Right.
Dalton Sturm's graduating. They did get Bryce Rivers some run, but I think it's fair to say that we can't project him to be the best.
And he'll probably get some push from Franco Harris. So.
That's right.
Or Frank Harris, not Franco.
Franco Harris.
Yeah. Frank Harris.
That would be a headline.
That would be a headline.
All right. Yeah. So we got 6 guys.
Yeah.
Here are the 6 guys I think you could consider.
Yeah.
Charlie Brewer at Baylor.
Yep.
De'Eric King at Houston.
Right.
Mason Fine at North Texas. Ben Hicks at SMU.
Yep.
Sam Ehlinger at TCU. And Nick Starkel.
What do you mean, Texas.
Texas, I'm sorry. Why did I say SMU? Sam Ehlinger at Texas.
Yeah.
And Nick Starkel at Texas A&M.
Right.
And so I kind of looked over the stats, and look, some of these guys are going to be, it's going to be skewed because they didn't play as much. Sam Ehlinger was banged up throughout the course of his season. De'Eric King really didn't take over the reins until late in the season.
Right.
Charlie Brewer's kind of the same way. They kind of weaned him in and out.
Yeah.
So kind of looking at the statistics here, I kind of looked at rate stats. Completion percentage, yards per attempt, touchdown to interception ratio.
Each guy's got a huge hole somewhere, right?
They really do.
Yeah.
So here's the guys that I think are really in the running.
Okay.
I think you've got a fine argument for Charlie Brewer because he did, by the way, complete nearly 70% of his passes.
Yep.
He was excellent.
That's his thing,
he
man.
Is very accurate.
Very accurate.
I don't think he's got the strongest arm, but he's very accurate.
Yep.
I think there's an argument for De'Eric King. I think if you're looking for yards per attempt, he had the best yards per attempt of anybody returning.
Yeah, and I think
and the best touchdown to interception rate.
Right, and if you're looking for a guy who single-handedly sort of changes teams' fortunes midstream, it's probably him.
Probably him.
Yeah.
If you're looking for prolific, you could absolutely go with Mason Fine or Ben Hicks.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Mason Fine put up bonkers numbers, 31 touchdowns. He needs to clean up his interceptions, but I thought he was.
They both do.
They both do.
Really, that's the issue with both of them.
Same thing with Ben Hicks, 33 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. He's got to clean that up. But Mason Fine is more accurate. He can play more percentage passes. I think you have got an argument for Nick Starkel.
Yeah.
Because when he was in, I thought the offense looked noticeably more potent at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And, by the way, he had the second best yards per attempt of any returning quarterback. The only guy here who is not first or second in any of those rate stats is Sam Ehlinger. And now part of that is I think when they lost Connor Williams, I think a lot of things changed for that offense. He was the one who had probably the worst running game. But I would say that you've got a number of arguments there. If you want to go with if you want to go with the guy with the more established track record, it's probably either Mason Fine or Ben Hicks.
Yeah.
Now, I think both have major questions. Ben Hicks is entering a situation with he's losing his best wide receiver.
Yeah. Two best wide
receivers. And he is losing his coach.
Yeah.
The guy who really kind of groomed him to be the guy.
Yeah.
So there's that. Mason Fine is really interesting. And I think if you want the surest bet on a quarterback heading into 2018, it's probably Mason Fine.
Yeah.
The numbers he put up, the stability that he's going to have out there on his entire offense.
Yeah, he gets Jalen Guyton back, top target.
Yes.
They lose Jeffrey Wilson, which is a big blow, but he has a target out there.
Yes.
I think everything's trending up at UNT. So
if you want the dark horse,
ooh,
the guy who I think could step up and end up being the guy that we're saying, it was him all along, it's probably Charlie Brewer, I think. Because if with a full season under his belt, with a full off season there, I think he's got the chance to take that next step forward and be the guy. If you want the wild card, I think it's De'Aaron King.
It's probably a good chance.
And I think that if you take it from a holistic standpoint, right? If you take it from a situation where you can look at what the team did with him and what the team did without him, De'Aaron King is probably the most stark example. Nick Starkel's in that conversation too, because I don't know what it was about Kellen Mond, but something didn't click when Kellen Mond was in there.
Yeah,
something just didn't.
They were a heck of a lot better.
It was
with
just
Nick.
fits and starts. When Nick Starkel was in there, see the first half against UCLA.
Yeah.
See down the stretch. I feel like the offense just looked a lot better. It felt a lot better.
Yeah.
So, right now, if you're asking me to pick who's the best quarterback going into 2018, personally, I think I'd go with Mason Fine.
Yeah.
Only because that's, to me, the surest thing.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
But I think there's also an argument for basically 4, depending on what you think of Sam Ehlinger, 5 other guys.
Well, and I think both of the guys at Tech are pretty intriguing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, McLean Carter and Jed Duffy were huge winners in high school, proven winners in high school. Can one of them make it work at this level?
Yeah.
Because they were a lot of fun back then.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think everybody, maybe, all due respect, but maybe with the exception of Rice, we've got a guy that we can dream on.
Yeah.
Kyle Oxley at UTEP. You can dream on him.
You dream. I mean, I know TCU fans are. They're dreaming on
Yeah,
Sean
they're
Robinson.
dreaming on him big time.
And there's plenty of reason. Another great winner.
Yes.
And, broke the streak at DeSoto.
Yeah,
So,
he broke through. He's the guy who broke through.
Yeah.
And so for me, that is what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I would say right now my pick would go to Mason Fine, but that's only because that's probably the safest pick.
Yeah.
is how
What I think the only thing that I'd really like to see is that we're in this position next year, and it's tough to pick for the opposite reason, right? There are so many guys who separated themselves and had great years for the first time in a few years for us that we can be like, boy, this is tough because there are just so many good quarterbacks in Texas right now. We haven't had that argument in a while.
Yeah. I think that. I think what's interesting is that we do have an interesting crop of quarterbacks coming back with a couple of guys who are kind of sure things.
Yeah.
Known as
Yeah, you kind of know
sure
what you're
things.
getting. Yeah.
A couple of guys who we've seen a little bit and we're like, okay, if this trend continues, things could be really good. And then a bunch of newcomers who 1 or 2 guaranteed will have a breakout year.
Right.
Right? We'll find out who it is.